This is Len Listens number 4. As part of a series of discussions regarding our local real estate marketplace, I would like to add community connections to the fold in learning more about programs and/or events that have a positive impact upon our residents. Many within our community are familiar with watching Cougars, Spruce Kings, and Timberwolves games, and we know each organization spends considerable resources in bringing these games to their fans each season. But it isn't just on the playing surface that these players and their organizations are making a positive contribution. We will try to get a brief glimpse of how these organizations are tied more closely to our community. Let's listen to Laura Lynn Murdoch, UNBC Athletic Director, Andy Beasley, Vice President Business, Prince George Cougars, and Tom Bomer, President, Prince George Spruce Kings. Why is it important for your organization to have your athletes engaged in the community?
I think it's very important for our student athletes to be engaged in the community for many different reasons. These student athletes are from all over the world, so they come to UNBC. They're often not from Prince George, so I think it's important that we get them out of the community so they know what the Prince George and surrounding area is about. They get to meet the community members and they get to be introduced to the youth and give back to those youth as they were given back to in their communities. With our international student athletes, it's very interesting to combine different languages and just different teaching skills, and it really ties in their whole encompassing student athlete experience at UNBC and ties in the city of Prince George.
Can you briefly describe some of the community events and programs that you're involved with?
Yeah, we try to do as much as we can with our community. Each team has their kind of trademark community events that they do. We do the Terry Fox Run. We work closely with the Special Olympics group in town in terms of having them out to our games and to our practices, and then we also supply coaching to them. We try to go to the inner city schools and do role modeling programs and mentorship programs. And then we also have a ticket program where we try to get as many local elementary school kids to our games as possible to provide them an opportunity to get autographs and to meet the student athletes and just be a part of the Timberwolf family.
Further community involvement is demonstrated with your organization through volunteers. How are volunteers involved in your operations?
Volunteers are vital to our operations. We have 2 major fundraisers here at UNBC, and that's our Legacy Breakfast, which is an annual event, and our golf tournament, which is an annual event. Volunteers spearhead those committees, and without them, we wouldn't be able to bring in speakers like Theo Fleury, which we did this year, and have 500 people up at the Northern Sports Center enjoying breakfast with our student athletes and raising monies for scholarships and awards. And then with the golf tournaments, it's a great opportunity to get 50 companies, foursomes out on the course, having some fun, meeting our athletes, and again, providing us with some financial means to grow our program and to continue doing what we're doing for the people we bring here.
And finally, on a much lighter note, and in keeping with my real estate connection, can you tell me the neighborhood you reside in and what makes this area so special for you?
So I live at the Tabor Lake area, which is east of town. It's a very special area to me. I grew up there. One of the big bonuses of living in a rural community is the community associations. We have many different opportunities, family opportunities with the parks, with the community halls, special events, where it's all the people from that area that come together, and we're not having to go into the city, and it's like your own little town outside of town, but very close.
Why is it important for your organization to have your athletes involved in the community?
Well, there's 2 huge reasons. The number one is that we know that the power of positive role modeling is profound with the Prince George Cougars. They have the ability to do a lot of good. A lot of kids look up to them, and we believe firmly that this community can really use positive role modeling. But just as important for that, it's important for the players themselves to learn how to be good community citizens, good fathers, good brothers, good husbands down the road, and they get just as much out of it as the kids do that our players work with.
Excellent. Can you briefly describe some of the community events and programs that you're involved with?
Well, the Cougars are involved with everything you can imagine, but a couple of the biggest ones are the school program, where we have trained our players to present very positive messaging to over 8,000 elementary school kids in a very interactive, very successful program. That's been huge for us. But we also work with golf tournaments, and we do all kinds of behind-the-scenes dressing room tours for disadvantaged kids or high-risk kids, and regular autograph signings. But we're involved in everything you could imagine.
Further community involvement is demonstrated within your organization through the use of volunteers. How are volunteers involved in your operations?
Well, it sounds corny to say it, but the saying, "we couldn't do it without our volunteers," is literally true. We have hundreds of volunteers we work with, all the way from 6 different organizations, charity organizations that supply volunteers to our games to work as ushers. We also have a full crew of off-ice officials who are all volunteer, and they keep track of all the stats and do all the camera work and so on. We have volunteer camera operators. We have all kinds of other behind-the-scenes volunteer stick people and interns and so on. But we also do things like volunteer for the golf tournament, and our alumni all come back from all over the world and participate to raise a great deal of money for the Spirit of the North Healthcare Foundation.
And finally, Andy, on a much lighter note and keeping with my real estate connection, I want to ask you which neighborhood you reside in and what makes this area of the city so special for you.
Well, we love all of Prince George. It's the best place to live. I've lived in many different locations, but for the past 27 years, we've lived up north in Salmon Valley. Love it out there. It's for me, it's a half-hour drive right from downtown all the way to our doorstep, which is nothing in my opinion, coming from Toronto, where you're lucky if you got away with 2 hours or more. And we love the lifestyle out there. It's peaceful, it's quiet, but it's also close to the shopping and north end of the city, and of course just another half hour downtown. So it's wonderful out there.
Thank you, Andy, and continued success.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Well, I think a few years back, our organization did a revalue of what was important to our group, and we come up with our core values, and we wanted to build our organization around the values of strength, character, passion, and commitment. And I think that in order to live by them core values, being in the community is very important. So we talk about strength being a value. Well, the strength of our community goes without saying. Prince George and the support that we've been given for our show home and throughout the course of the season with the people in the building, and just overall support that we've had is outstanding. Passion, obviously, to speak to the passion of people in the community, and having our community see that our group and our organization is as passionate about Prince George as Prince George is about the Spruce Kings is important. So along the lines of our core values, that's a way that we can showcase our core values to our community, but also showcase what we feel is the values of Prince George throughout the province of BC.
Can you briefly describe some of the community events and programs that your athletes are involved with?
Yeah, we do a very strong presence in the local community schools. Our kids are active with the youth in the community, doing various floor hockey in the community or in the schools. Obviously, they participate in a reading program that they go in and they get to read to some of the kids, and our players really enjoy the interaction that they get from the youth in the community. And also we like to invite them to games and to experience what it's like to be at a Spruce Kings game and their families, and we've had really good strong feedback with that. On the social side of things, we've had some community events where we've worked with some different user groups to bring them into the Coliseum and bring them into the community, and treat some people to a game or different user groups to a game, and be able to have them participate in some activities with us during some of our feature games has been real popular. And that's something that for me as the leader of our organization, them are some of the programs that I'm most proud of, obviously.
Further community involvement is within your organization through the involvement of volunteers. Can you just briefly describe how volunteers are involved in your organization?
Yeah, well, we're a group of volunteers, myself included. From the president right down to the fellas that are taking the tickets at the doors, we're a group of volunteers, and we're committed to our core values and to what the Prince George Spruce Kings mean to the community. And I think that we're as active as we possibly can be in terms of being in the community. We've had our volunteers participate as well with different seniors events and different local charities throughout the community. I myself, along with some of the other executive, put in countless of hours of our free time to keep the organization going, and I think that it reflects, again, the values of our organization, but also the values of Prince George as well.
And finally, on a much lighter note, and keeping with my real estate connection, can you tell me the neighborhood you reside in And what makes this area of our city so special for you?
Well, I live in Chartwell Crescent up in Westgate, and being from from that part of the community, for me, I love it up there. It's close to shopping. Our kids attend the Catholic school up in that area, so it's very close. It's a very convenient for me place to live. The neighborhood, for whatever, it's clean. It's great. I've moved there since I coached in Quesnel back in '05. So we've been there for the better part of 10 years now, and we just love it. So you can't say enough about the community.
That's excellent. Thank you very much for your time, Tom.